I'm actually going to start by giving you guys the title of my talk right off the bat. And the title of my talk today is Dive into the FUNknown. So, I mean, how about that dive? And the reason I'm giving you the talk of that title, yes? Yeah, oh, that was me, yes. That's how I felt. Actually, I didn't realize that this is how I felt when I went to Guatemala. But when I came back, I was like, oh, I was really diving into the FUNknown. And I realized when we were having all this, or I showed that slide with all the pictures, it actually looks like it was sprinkled with maybe working a little and having a lot of fun. I'm like, there's not a lot of kid pictures in there. I swear we went and actually worked, but we did have a lot of fun. And for me personally, I dove greatly into the FUNknown, and I was just speaking to Sherry about this, and I didn't realize how emotional I got in thinking about that trip. So it was a very fun trip. But the reason I bring this up right now, dive into the FUNknown, is because Aiden, who, like I said, I've known for many, many, many years, and had the wonderful opportunity of working with him in Guatemala for our trip. And I'm sorry, Scott, because originally Scott and Aiden were supposed to work together at a dance, and somehow I just kind of like, I think I'm going to dance now, which if you know Scott, kicking him out of a dance floor is like the hardest thing, so I'm not sure he was very gracious in allowing me to do that. The first night, or actually it was the second night, before we went to the house, to Casa Guatemala, to work with the children, Dr. James brought out his guitar. Everyone was sitting outside enjoying the weather, hanging out, chatting. And Aiden, Dr. James, and I were inside, and Dr. James brought out his guitar, started playing the song, and he said, would you guys help me with this song? And I can sing. Little children might cry, and dogs might howl, but I can sing. And so anytime someone says sing, I'm, yeah, for sure. So as we were singing, and I'm listening to Aiden's voice, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize what a beautiful voice he had. And so I said to Dr. James, I speak in June. Do we have a guest speaker or a guest singer yet for that day? And he said, no. And I turned to Aiden and I said, would you be my guest singer? And he said, yeah, wait. I mean, it was so funny. He was so excited at first. He was like, yeah, wait, what? And it took a minute for him it went from excitement to fear. And you could tell all of that. Well, maybe fear is not the right word for you. Maybe it was just, I'm speaking for you. But certainly there was little wheels in your head spinning that were going, wait, what did I just commit to? And so we sat down and we talked about it. And I realized when he spoke and said, well, I don't really know the song, and I haven't sang in a couple of years, and I haven't been in front of an audience. It's all those known things from the relative world that started piling in to say, this is why you can't do it. And what I love, and when we had the conversation, Aiden actually said, yes. Actually, yes. I said, do you want to do this? And he said, yes. I said, well, then let's just stay there. And while that anxiety or overwhelm didn't stop being in his body, he chose to dive into the FUNknown because it was unknown, but he was going to take it on the fun side. He was going to practice. He was going to be a part of it. And he said yes, which I love, and I'm sure everyone here today, right? Aren't we glad that Aiden chose to say yes today? So thank you. I just realized I left my iPad down here. I'm going to pick it up real quick because I have a couple of quotes. Thank you. That I want to talk about. So Aiden saying yes took a couple of things. It was not just saying yes, willing to say yes. It was also being committed to his yes, and then having the courage to continue on that commitment. And Nelson Mandela says, I learned, I always want to read my quotes, even though they're very short. He said, I learned, okay, where is my quote? I'm going to be looking a lot here, so you'll have to excuse me. I learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. See, it's very short, and I can't believe I forgot it. But I learned that the courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. And Mark Twain says, courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, but not absence of fear. And so when we're diving in to something new that is unknown to us, It's that ability to recognize what's happening inside. All those old beliefs, like I said before, the known from the relative world, the known of the past, the known of what you, as Joe Dispenza says, the predictable future. But the truth is, it's unknown. All of it is unknown. Every moment is unknown. And it's merely just a prediction or perception of what it is. So when we dive into the FUNknown, which I like to say, is we're diving into this unknown with our own perception of fun. Ralph Waldo, it reminds me a lot of what Ralph Waldo Emerson says, and we talk about move your bloated nothingness out of the way. I've said it a million times. I know Dr. James has said it. You've probably all used it before. Move your bloated nothingness out of the way. The actual quote from Spiritual Laws, from his essay in Spiritual Laws, is this: "Let us take our bloated nothingness out of the path of the divine circuits. Let us unlearn the wisdom of the world. Let us lie low in the Lord's power and learn that truth alone makes rich and great." Let us take our bloated nothingness out of the path of the divine circuits. So this path of the divine circuits, this path of knowing who we are, this path of the I am that I am already exists for you. It's who you are. It's your birthright. Let us unlearn the wisdom of the world. And so when we come in the world, we learn all these various things that come into our world, into our perception, into our life, and we interpret it how we wish to interpret it. Sometimes it's great. Listen, I believe I'm fun. I'm going to stay with that. But I also believe that I run late, and so it is. Which one shall I unlearn? Maybe stop being late. Unlearn that one. But there are things that we place in our minds, in our hearts, in our souls, and we let grow, much like the acorn into an oak tree. We let those acorns that maybe we don't necessarily want grow in our lives, take seed and grow. And what Ralph Waldo Emerson is saying, unlearn those. That's not the truth about who you are. Get your bloated nothingness out of the way. And for me, when I started to really listen to this, I believe what he's saying is fear-based. Get your bloated, fear-based nothingness out of the way. Because it's been said that we really only have two emotions or two feelings, right? It's love or fear. It's not love or hate. It's not love or jealousy. It's not love or anger. It's love or fear. And all these other emotions are just part of fear. So much is happening in the world right now where we can't really even communicate with each other without all this perception of what we're saying to one another. Last night I had a really great conversation with my kids, and I love it because we get into very heated and debated, not arguments, maybe arguments, I don't know. But we certainly discuss a lot. My son's like, shh. We certainly discuss a lot. And what I love is that we are open enough to hear what each one of us has to say. I feel like I'm sort of in the middle of my two children. And what I do love is that they have the ability to talk about what each other believes without making each other wrong. Now, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes I do have to kind of come in and go, hey, wait a minute. But most of the time, they're able to listen to each other with an open heart. And that's something that I believe that we're missing today in this world. That we're missing that ability to speak to each other, not from the perception of what we believe somebody is saying because of who they are and what train of thought they believe. We bring that assumption into the conversation when the conversation might very well be like, what would you like for lunch? Right? So releasing all of that, unlearning the wisdom of what the world has brought to us so that we can have a conversation, we can have our choices, we can have what we believe in, and also respect that of somebody else's without making them wrong. That takes courage. That takes courage to have the ability to listen and not react. Oliver Wendell Holmes says it takes courage to act and not react. And that to me speaks volumes of understanding exactly who you are. So when I say diving into the FUNknown, It's not that when you are in the unknown, you should be expecting fun. It's that you should bring the consciousness of fun into the unknown, so that creating from that space, from that consciousness, from that knowing. And when I say fun, here's what I mean. When I say fun, I mean feeling unlimited now. So bringing that consciousness of feeling unlimited now. Because like I said, I was here a couple of weeks ago and we talked about being present in the present, right? There's only this moment. Now, there may be someone online watching, my mother probably in San Antonio. Time, different, but it's still a now moment for her. There may be someone in England, Uganda, we're in Guatemala watching this right now, and the time zone is very different. But there's only one moment. It is the now moment, this moment. That's all there ever is. And so because this moment is all that exists, what consciousness you bring to this moment is your choice. Do you bring fear? Do you bring love? In order to do that, as Ralph Waldo Emerson said, is unlearning the wisdom of the world. In the song that Aiden just sang, Look for the Good, I love that song. It's so upbeat, it's so fun. The kids enjoyed listening to it so much, and singing and playing. And the funny part is watching Angie redoing a lot of the words, because it just didn't make any sense, and writing it in like a Spanish with the Spanish intonation. So in the chalkboard, instead of saying good, it said good. So it was amazing. But the kids love singing it. One of my favorite things that he says in that song is, it always seems impossible until it's done. Isn't that true? Doesn't everything seem like it's an impossibility until it's done? Did today seem like an impossibility to you before it got done? Yeah. Everything seems impossible until it's done. And I'm going to take a page from Reverend Eric Overholzer, and what he likes to do is really break down a word. What is impossible? I am possible. I'm possible. So it's basically saying what he says. Impossible is really, I am possible. And going back to the consciousness that you bring to any situation, do you bring the consciousness of impossible? Or do you bring the consciousness of, I am possible? Knowing that whatever's coming up for you in that moment, knowing that if it's fear, if it's overwhelm, if it's whatever it may be that stops you, that limits you, understanding that you're the one that has that limit. And you can take any situation you like, and bring the consciousness of I am possible. In the quantum physics, we talk a lot about just the field of pure potential, how there's so much potential out there, that every moment is rife with potential, that we have the ability to choose in this moment many different choices. That this is not something that gets hijacked by somebody else, by somebody else's emotions. They told me this, my mother did that, my father did that, my ex did this. And bringing that consciousness into your life, that's your choice. That's your choice to limit by what somebody else has done. You have the ability to move past that and make every moment a moment of pure potential, a moment of pure growth, a moment of pure understanding, a moment of I am possible. Because that exists for everyone. Our class just ended this week, mine and Reverend Eric's. We did The Power of Belief. It was based on a book by Michael Singer. This is the second time that we do Michael Singer's book, and I loved it. There was a mixed emotion about this book. Some people loved it, some people hated it. It sounded like, it was something that he kept talking about over and over again, about being able to surrender and being able to surrender. But really what I got out of that book is that life knows what it's doing. Life already knows what it's doing. And when you surrender to the power of life, and that's life with a capital L, you can't help but live a magnificent, fun life. I know there's a lot, like I said, going on in this world, and it's hard to not be affected by what's happening. And so for me, it's important to understand that your consciousness can either feed into that, or it can change it, transform it into something, make it something possible for others to understand, that we don't have to lay and sit in this consciousness of us and them. We can actually make it a consciousness of unity, to look for the good in everyone, Look for the good in everyone. Not look for the good in the people you like. Not look for the good in your family or in your society or in your church. Look for the good in everyone, because I promise you, it's there. It's possible to find that good in everyone. So in our Power of Belief class, the last class that we did, Reverend Eric and I encouraged everyone to do something uncomfortable. And I hate to use the word uncomfortable, and maybe someday someone will help me find another word, but it's the word uncomfortable that allows for that friction that happens, with the friction in the oyster for the pearl, or for the coal to become a diamond. It's that friction that allows that brilliance to come forth. So I wish I could find another word for uncomfortable, but I guess that's the word I'll have to use, since it's the word that creates the friction. But we asked them to do this for two reasons. One reason is that when you do something that moves you out of your comfort zone, maybe that's a better word, that moves you out of your comfort zone, you realize what beliefs come up for you. And I'm not talking about doing something uncomfortable that you're like, I really don't want to do this. I'm talking about moving into that uncomfortable space of, here's something I want to do, and I don't know if I can. It's that impossible that comes up. I don't know if I can actually do this. I don't know if I have that wherewithal. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too inexperienced, I don't have enough money. All of that starts to come up. I don't know the song. I haven't practiced in a while. All of that comes up. I'm talking about looking at something that feels that is taking you out of your comfort zone, and do it anyway, with a consciousness of possibility, with a consciousness of I am possible. So when we did this week, and just in the interest of not, talking about the class in general, I will say we had so many people have such amazing experiences, and understanding two things. One, the beliefs that came up that were limiting, the beliefs that stopped them from doing whatever it was that they chose to do. And two, the ability to recognize how unstoppable they actually are, how unstoppable I actually am, because I actually did it too. I decided to, I did the homework every time also, but I decided I'm going to do something that is completely out of my comfort level and do it anyway. So I am actually signing up for a screenwriting class, and with the institute, it's David Lynch's Institute, which is something that I didn't even realize that I wanted to do, except that I decided to do something that was out of my comfort zone. And this is it for me. This, to put it out there, to be vulnerable, to do it anyway. So what we discovered, and it was such a moving class, it was, not only did we get something for ourselves, but in hearing other people talk about what they came up with, it not only motivated us, but it moved us. It moved our energy, first of all, just being in class, and all the class was done online, but it moved our energy. It moved us to tears in hearing some of these stories. It moved us into action in wanting to do more. It inspired us. So it was that energy of feeding the inspiration from one another by diving into the FUNknown, taking the energy of what is fun for us, what is feeling unlimited now. Feeling unlimited now. Now is the only moment that you can feel limited. Now is the only time that I can make the decision to do something that moves me out of my comfort zone. Now is the moment to understand that I am possible. Now. The song continues and it says, people done gone crazy, people done gone mad, people done forgot the superpower we all have. Don't you sometimes feel that way, like, oh my God, I feel like I just forgot who I am? In that moment, I forgot who I am. I forgot who I am. And when you forget who you are, you forget your superpower. It says right here, the superpower we all have. Again, all of us, each one of us is born with this power of the I am, to know that we can move anything. If there's somebody out there who's done something that you want to do, you can do it too. Who's stopping you? Now, I know that you can throw at me a slew of excuses and you can tell me, oh, I have these responsibilities, I have that responsibility, and so it is. And so it is. And that's the life you're going to lead. But there is a superpower in you right now at all times that allows you to move into the I am possible consciousness, to experience that I am consciousness, to experience the thing that you want to experience, to know that it is in your life. In quantum physics, we talk a lot about the observer effect, right? That which you see is seeing you too. And we think about it as experiences, but I like to think about it as our desires. If there's a desire out there that you have, that desire is seeking you. It's contemplating you as you are contemplating it. I know that sounds so out there, but it's the truth. Mary Mann and Morrissey says, things happen twice, first in mind and then in form. First in mind. They don't happen in form and then in mind. And we really got to get this. First in mind and then in form. So that thing, that desire you have for something is the very thing that's desiring you. It's a magnet to one another. And if you come at it with the consciousness of, I am possible, it comes at you with the consciousness of, I am possible. But if you go at it with the consciousness of impossible, it's coming to you with the consciousness of impossible. We talk a lot about choice. We are always at choice. This moment we're at choice. I made a choice a long time ago to stay in this teaching. In spite of, I can't do it, I'm in the middle of a custody battle, I've got kids, I've got this, I've got that. I had to move all that aside to grow to exactly what it is that I wanted to do and know and be and feel. Because this teaching resonated with me. And I know that it resonates with each and every one of you. For those of you online too, I know that it resonates with you. You wouldn't be sitting here if you didn't understand exactly who you were. You are that power. You are that possibility. You are the pure potential at all times. At all times, no matter what, as Dr. James says, no matter what. So don't you want to continue living in that life of I am possible? Don't you want to know that that desire that you have that is seeking you, as Rumi says, what you seek is seeking you? Don't you want to know that what is seeking you is seeking you because it is? It is. So I invite us all of us, to move into this consciousness of I am possible when those words, this is impossible, show up. Because it's really not. It's really not impossible. We wouldn't be sitting online. I wouldn't be talking on a microphone. I wouldn't be having a slide up here if somebody didn't contemplate the possibility of the internet, of a computer, of my iPad, of all of it. Because everything, really, what are we talking about? It's all energy. It's all vibration, right? In the song, he says, everyone is love, everyone is light, everyone is vibration. Isn't that what we say? Everyone is love, everyone is light, everyone is vibration. He also says everyone is nature, everyone is God. God is you, God is me, God is nature, God is my iPad. God is all of it because that's all that's happening. There's just one thing happening, and it is this consciousness of pure potential. And you have the gift to move that pure potential forward. You have the ability, you, not your partner, not your children, not your job, not anything else, not the money that comes in, you. You have that pure potential in you that allows you to experience life at its fullest, to have some fun today, because it's the only day, it's the only moment. And really, it should say, have some fun this moment, right? Have some fun this moment. Allow yourself to experience the I am possible that is the possibility of all our lives. The impossible is also a possibility. You get to choose. You get to choose which one of the two consciousness you have. Is it love? Is it fear? Is it possible? Is it impossible? It's up to you. And I'll leave you guys with this. Diane Brabant did a wonderful meditation this morning, right before service, and she quoted 3 people. And the one that I love the most is the Michael Jordan quote, which is, see, I have to look. Even if it's a short one, I still have to look. Oh, where did I put it? I lost it. Okay. The quote is, I'm going to ask Diane. I swear to God, it's just like have fun, and I will have forgotten it. It's true. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh, see, it's so easy. Just play, have fun, enjoy the game. Michael Jordan. Just play, have fun, enjoy the game. And this is the game, isn't it? Isn't life a game? Life is a beautiful, wonderful, expansive game. Life has so much to offer, so much joy, so much fun, so much life. I'm not saying that there isn't stuff happening in the world. I'm saying that your consciousness is responsible for raising that other lower consciousness to something beautiful, something wonderful, something to be enjoyed. Your life is seen by others. Be the inspiration. Be the having fun. Just play. Have fun. Enjoy the game. Be the possibility that others see for yourself, for the world, for the consciousness at large. And if there's anything that you leave with today, at least leave with a little sweatshirt philosophy. Have some fun today. Namaste. Thank you, Diane. Thank you.